care about losing all the money. It's losing all the stuff.
What is it about stuff? My stuff, your stuff, their stuff. We love our stuff. We hate our stuff. We swap our stuff. We even display voyeuristic tendencies in our fascination for stuff watching television shows about stuff. I mean, think about it. We went from the educational sophistication of Antiques Roadshow episodes to hoarders, American pickers, and storage wars. You know, my theory is that the ancient Egyptians really built the pyramids for storage and used that whole spiel about stocking up for the afterlife as a cover. Come on, really, think about it. What a great excuse to gather more stuff. I think we instinctively respond to the power of a good story, and whether overt or covert, we react. Every object has a story. Every story enlists some kind of response from us. Advertisers know this and use this to sell us the stuff of which dreams are made, with their buy this and you'll feel better stories. Think about it. Our stuff holds stories about just in case and rainy days, about identity and status and keeping up with the Joneses. Then there's the security stories, and the more is better stories, and the way we were stories. And when all else fails and our stuff is out of control, there is the "it's in the DNA my grandparents survived the Depression" stories. Stories are good when they serve us, not so entertaining when they don't. Should we take a moment to stop and listen to them? The thing is, we can pick our stories. Do we like where they're taking us, especially when they're talking about our stuff? I like to tell folks who are overwhelmed with their stuff that they are sitting on a gold mine of untapped energy and that there is a transformative rush waiting for them on the other side of addressing it. Keep it simple. People always think they have to start creating order and clearing clutter with biggies like, do I want this? Can I use this? Should I keep this and sell it on eBay? My personal favorite is, whose is this and how did it get in my house? Seriously, procrastination will be the initial response to all 4 questions, so don't go there if you want to move forward. Starting to clear clutter is really more elemental than that. Your first decision is a sorting one. Just identify what is hanging out in the space you choose to clear. Scan the space and start sorting. Sort in piles. Yes, I said piles. Create piles of like with like, and label the sorted piles so you don't have to stop to identify a pile while you are sorting, especially if it's a paper pile. Some folks like to pile in boxes, but really boxes kind of have a chaperone energy about them and can psychologically limit sorting piling frenzies. I do keep bankers' boxes nearby, though, for after the piles have started piling up. Bankers' boxes can be assembled and stacked up for later, or collapsed if they're not needed. Warm up with the low-hanging fruit and start small. Maybe your first pass will be for junk mail or dirty laundry, magazines and books, fast food wrappers. Remember, you are deciding on categories, not on whether to keep or pitch. Pitching comes after the sorting. The first thing I invite folks to pitch is guilt. Guilt might offer a short-term remedy, but really, when did guilt ever improve anything for the long haul? Guilt has a boomerang effect. It does not sustain a life change. Better to love yourself through your stuff and let your stuff love you with new stories. And you can also pitch frustration and embarrassment. Bad stories too, because creating order out of clutter takes time. Space and time. I think Einstein had a few things to say about that topic. But me, I say we relate to space when we trip over our clutter. We relate to time when we shove it into a closet. How we live in our space with our stuff is relative to our relationship with time. And if our relationship with time contributes to the quality of our relationships with people, you can bet it mimics a similar story with our stuff. Think about it. Then, if you throw time travel into your relationship with stuff, you could be lost for years romancing a bad story. That's when clutter from the past poses as potential for the future and gets shoved into a basement or an attic. And ever notice how much we use the word potential to cover for questionable relationships? Look up the definition. Potential is only expressed in the future, never now. And in case you haven't noticed, we don't actually live in the future. The possibilities are endless because we all have our own slant and way of dealing with what merits a shove into the closet or a dash out the door. So to tackle your relationship with your stuff, start with something simple. Good relationships require communication and time spent in the now. Set up a date night and date your clutter. Yes, I said date your clutter. Light a candle, play your favorite music, pour a glass of wine or a cup of tea, and talk to it. Listen to it. Entertain each other. Yes, entertain each other. Then set another date to start clearing and creating order. I guarantee you'll feel differently about your clutter after having had a date with it. While we all enjoy seeing finished results, I think it's important to understand that the emotional impact of change, even good change, sometimes slows the clearing and organizing process. I emphasize this with my clients because a major life transition of my own led me to this work. I've been on both sides of the stuff fence and do not take lightly the transformative powers of a well-thought home and what we sometimes have to go through to get there. The key element to clearing and organizing is honoring your pace while holding the vision. That way home and heart will flow seamlessly in your process. In a world that changes as rapidly as ours, the value in a supportive environment is not to be underrated. After all, it is your home and your heart that springboard the journeys you choose to undertake.